If you're a sentimental soul and have got sentimental items coming out of your ears, then the answer is to focus on quality over quantity. In this podcast, we're going to talk about the 10 sentimental items you can declutter today.
You're listening to the Declutter Hub podcast, bringing you tried and tested, no-nonsense tips and advice from the leading experts in decluttering and organising your home. Now here are your hosts, Ingrid Jansen and Leslie Spellman.
Hello and welcome, listeners. I'm Ingrid.
And I'm Leslie.
If you've been listening in for a while, we appreciate you so much being here. And if you are a brand new listener, thank you so much for listening in. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our weekly episode. Now, in today's podcast, we are going to talk about the hardest category there is to declutter, and it is the sentimental items. But there are categories that we can tackle and we can thin out because we need to go for quality and not quantity, isn't it, Leslie?
Yeah, so there are definitely some items in sentimental items that are kind of no-brainers, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We have a habit, if we're sentimental souls, as Ingrid mentioned, to just kind of keep everything. And so what we're going to say is, actually, you need to delve a little bit deeper and go, really? An element of realism needs to come in. And so there are certain things that you can absolutely let go of to no detriment to your sentimental soul. So without further ado, Ingrid, let's talk about number one on our list.
The first one, Leslie, on our list is children's artwork. Quality over quantity is key in this because kids create a tremendous amount of artwork over the years. Especially if there's multiple kids in your house, you might have hundreds and hundreds of pieces of their creative juices that have been put on paper, from little scribbles to beautiful pieces of artwork. But you can thin it out.
But of course, we are not suggesting that you get rid of all of your children's artwork. That would be basically very, very mean. But we're going to focus on one area, which is that artwork where you have no clue. You don't know who painted it, where it was painted, why it was painted. Those are the things that absolutely need to go because they don't evoke a memory. Sentimental items is all about keeping things that evoke a warm, fuzzy feeling inside when you look at them. And if you're not quite sure of the background to that painting, those are the ones that can go because there will be plenty of others that do evoke those feelings. So keep the ones that evoke the feelings, let the ones go that don't evoke the feelings that we're talking about.
And this is easier than people think. People think, oh, no, it's my children's artwork. I'm going to keep everything. Honestly, once you look at it, it's like, oh, yeah, actually, oh, I remember this. And when you start to kind of laugh about something because something is funny or something like, oh, that's so special, those are the ones you want to keep. But there's going to be lots of stuff you're like, I can't even remember this. So don't think this is an incredible hard category. This can be easier than you think.
So yes, number one on our list is children's artwork with no name or no visible memory attached to it. And number two is a little bit more tricky. Number two is all about dinner services. Now, if we go back through the generations, there was this habit of buying everything. And so you would buy the dinner plates, the coffee mug, the sugar bowl, the charging plates, everything to do with that dinner service you would buy. And these dinner service would be 72 or 96 piece dinner services. And if they've been passed down through the generations to us, it's quite a big investment of storage space to keep these things. Now, it might not be that you're using these things. They might be gathering dust in a cabinet, but you feel out of guilt or obligation that you need to keep these things. Now, what we're saying, if you know in your heart of hearts that you aren't going to use these dinner services and you are just keeping them out of respect for the person that gave them to you, perhaps what you want to think about is keeping one component of that dinner service. Keep a cup, a saucer, and a side plate. keep a serving bowl, keep a coffee mug or a teapot or something like that. You don't have to keep everything to do with that dinner service. There are places that you can sell pieces of dinner services online and pass them on to someone who's going to really enjoy them. So really think that through. Sentimental items are all about evoking a very special memory. We do not have to keep every single piece of that dinner service to evoke that special memory for us.
Yes, Leslie, absolutely brilliant suggestion in our 10 things. And I've got another one as well, and that is photos of people you've got no idea who they are. And even it happens in our own lives. We look back and go, who is this person? It doesn't even necessarily have to be people from like old photographs from your parents or your grandparents. It can even be people that you think, I have no recollection of this person on holiday. Who are these people in my holiday pictures?
There's something really special, isn't there, about photographs where we feel obliged that we have to keep every single photograph that we've ever taken. And so, yeah, absolutely. If you don't know who that person is, it's very, very unlikely that light bulb is going to, yes, I know who that is from 1972 when I was on the holiday in Benidorm. I totally know who that is now. That's not going to happen. So if you don't know who the person is, do yourself a favor and get rid of that photo today. We can also declutter photographs. People are like, oh, I just can't declutter photographs. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Definitely. Whether it's a hard copy or in your computer, a digital one, you can declutter them. Now, let's go to the next category, Leslie. And this is going to be possibly a hard one because this is letters that people have written to you that have like a bad memory attached to them. So you open them and you're like, oh gosh, this is a horrible situation or something happened and then we cling on to these letters, but we know they're in that cupboard and we get a sinking feeling every time we think about them because it was a really hard time in our lives and we find it really hard to even talk about it. Why are we hanging on to all this stuff that is so negative?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really, really tough one to do. And the unfortunate thing is to go through that process of getting rid of letters with bad memories attached. You have to go back to that place again and reread the letter or see the letter at least and go down that route. But honestly, let it go because there's no space for negativity in your life. I think we keep it sometimes. If somebody has hurt us, which is often the kind of thing, this is really hard to talk about, but often in these kind of letters, it's because someone's done or said something very, very hurtful to us. And often we want to keep proof that that's happened. And that's the reason why people cling on to these things. But really, delve deep into yourself and say, is that going to serve me or the person well if I keep on going over that kind of stuff? This is quite painful for a lot of people, so we won't talk about it anymore. But whether you've got that letters in your sentimental items that are not bringing good memories with them, let them go.
I've got another one, Leslie, for our 10 things list, and that is paintings you don't like. Why are they on your walls? You look at them every day. I mean, sometimes they've been there for such a long time, you actually don't see them anymore because you don't look at them. But why are they on your walls?
And sometimes, though, Ingrid, they're not on the walls. And sometimes they've been taken off the walls because we don't like them. We kind of keep them. And so, they might still be on your walls, which is even worse. But a lot of times where they are is in a loft, in a kind of paintings section of things that maybe one day, actually, I might suddenly fall back in love with that painting and put it back on the wall. The chances are, if you've already made a decision that you no longer want that on your wall, let it go. There's no space for that. How many times do we see these piles and piles of paintings kept just in case you're going to suddenly decide?
Yeah.
I've really fallen in love with that 1970s, really, really old-fashioned painting that I had, which I actually hated.
Yeah.
Let it go. Let it go to someone who's going to enjoy it because there are undoubtedly people who will enjoy that painting.
Do you struggle to keep on top of things at home? Managing a household and all that comes with it is a never-ending task. So you're going to need fixed routines and habits to help you achieve it. In our Resets and Routines program, we take you through everything you need to do daily, weekly and seasonally to keep things running like clockwork. Our special offer on the Resets and Routines program ends on February the 6th at midnight. Go to declutterhub.com/routines for all the information you need.
Okay, welcome back. And we're now at number 6 in our 10 things to declutter from your sentimental items today. And this is another one to do with photos and artwork. So it kind of combines the photos one that we spoke about and the artwork that one we spoke about. Quite often we have frames up on the wall, on top of shelves, on pianos, on surfaces. And then we think, oh, it's really old fashioned. I want to take that down. I want to replace it with a more current photograph. So we take the frame down, maybe because the frame's old fashioned, maybe because the photo is a little bit outdated. And we keep those frames probably with the artwork section that we've got downstairs in our basement or our attic. And we leave them in the frames. And so we're not necessarily suggesting that you declutter the photograph, because chances are that at some point that's been a very sentimental photograph. But declutter the frames or separate the frame from the photograph. Take the photograph out of the frame, send the frame to charity shop if it's old fashioned, or put a different picture in that frame if you like the frame. So separate out the photos in frames that you never put up.
I know, Leslie, it's like these collages from like a holiday or something, or from a previous job, and your colleagues gave you a enjoy your new job or anything like that, and they give you a collage of funny pictures, and you think, yeah, I'm not gonna put that up anymore, I'm past that, and it ends up in your loft indeed. So let it go. Brilliant number 6 in our list, Leslie.
Number 7 on our list is all about greetings cards. Now, greetings cards is something that people keep an awful lot of. So much so that we've already recorded an entire podcast about decluttering sentimental cards. So if you need more than a one thing in our 10 things, maybe go and listen to episode 119 when we delve a lot deeper into decluttering sentimental cards. But for now, if a card just has, "Hi Leslie, dear Leslie, Merry Christmas, love Ingrid," with no sentiment attached to it whatsoever, it's just a perfunctory card, as it were, let it go, because it's not that special.
Leslie, loving your suggestion, but I've never heard the word perfunctory. So what does that mean? I'm learning something every day, listeners.
Yeah, perfunctory, not perfunctory. What did you say? Not perfunctory or whatever. It's perfunctory. Good word, eh?
Very good word.
Yeah,
very good word.
It means where it's just performing a basic function. So there's no real interest or excitement or sentiment behind it. So it's just basic. That's what I would say perfunctory was. But you like it. You like my vocabulary this morning. Well, that's good. Thank you. Thank you. And you can use that now. If you could say it, go on, practice saying it.
Can you say it again? Because I forgot how to put it out.
I know. This is like a language lesson. Perfunctory.
Perfunctory.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice.
I want you to use it in the next, in number 8.
Okay, right. So let's go then to number 8. We've done the cards. Let's go to number 8 on our list. What we see in houses is multiple bags of children's clothing. From either, it can be baby clothes while the kids are now 13 or 14 years old. It can be clothes from all the way when they were young. Lots and lots of bags. I can't use the word perfunctory in this topic, Leslie.
Yeah, just like it. Yeah, this is definitely nothing to do with perfunctory.
I'm trying to. I have to think too hard now how I'm going to use this. So, and while I'm losing the thread. But anyway, so yes, multiple bags of children's clothing. It is all too much. If you know that you're not going to have another child, you've got bags and bags full of stuff in your loft with clothing, pick out a couple of special items that is not everything, but the ones that are special. And the rest, donate it, give it away, sell it off, whatever you're going to do with it. But don't let it go to waste, because the longer it's in a black bin bag in your loft, the more it's going to deteriorate.
Deteriorate's a good word. So you did get a big word in that. All is not lost. Okay. So we are now on to number 9. And this is a tough one as well, actually, because We have copious amounts of soft toys in our homes, don't we? This might be from our own childhood. And so it's not just necessarily if we've got children, this might be from our own childhood, where we have loads and loads of soft toys. And they are so cute that it's very hard to say goodbye to a little cute looking teddy bear, isn't it? It's like, how can we do that? How can I just throw that in a charity bag? But soft toys are huge. They take up huge amounts of space, don't they? We keep them for years and years and years. The key is to constantly keep on going with those soft toys and really look at the ones that are less special. You have to be quite ruthless when it comes to soft toys to keep the right amount, don't you?
Oh, hundreds. But do get your kids involved. I mean, not when they're like 2 or 3 years old, but when they're a little bit older, they can tell you which the favorites are. Because sometimes we think as parents, like, oh, no, that's a special one. The kids are like, oh, no, we can go. I've got another one now. So get the kids involved, but don't suddenly go, okay, we've got 150 soft toys. We're going to keep 5. Not going to work. Not going to work.
Yeah, I really definitely feel like it's a phased approach that works when it comes to soft toys. You just keep having to keep chipping away at it and keep on getting these volumes down. And as Ingrid says, wait until they're a little bit older to do that. You can't really wrestle them away from when they're 3 years old. They don't take too kindly to that. So we find ourselves, Ingrid, at number 10, don't we?
Yes. This is a brilliant one as well, Leslie. It's all these little ornaments and trinkets that we kind of, I don't, sometimes you wonder how they come into your house and you're like, how did this end up in my house? It's things that we kind of get given or we pick up when we're on holiday, or it's a memory of something and then it clutters up our shelves. I mean, it's too many. There's too many.
I know I've said so many times, sometimes the easiest place to declutter in your house is things like windowsills and mantelpieces, because those things just stay on there and we never ever change them or move them. And so quite often we look at these things day after day after day, and sometimes like, I really don't know why that's there because I absolutely hate it and it's just gathering dust. And so often these ornaments and trinkets are things that have been special in the past, but there is a passage of time. You know, if something's been on your mantelpiece for 10 years and you've looked at it every single day, it can go because it's served its useful purpose. And so don't be scared of getting rid of ornaments and trinkets that you no longer like or that you are keeping out of guilt, which is quite often what happens, because often they're gifts, aren't they?
Yeah. And I think as well, Leslie, I think the ornaments and trinkets, as soon as there's too many, it always like one blur. You can't even see anymore. There's so many things and it takes your mind to so many different places that actually the one or two that are super special, you can't even see among all the other kind of cheap stuff. And I think it's also a lot connected to if you collect something that people think, oh yeah, that's nice. Oh yeah, she's the owl person. We'll give her another stone owl or another. And it all just gets too much. It all goes out of control and it all gathers dust and it takes longer and more effort to clean your house as well.
Definitely. So 10 things, sentimental items that you can declutter from your house today.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a good list, actually. Yeah. They're no-brainers, aren't they? They're absolute no-brainers. Some of them might take a little bit of time. Yeah. I mean, I say 10 things that you can declutter from your house today. I'm not sure that you could go through all these things today and declutter them. If I'm on it, we can say today 10 things you can think about decluttering from your sentimental items today. 10 things that you can start to plan to declutter over the next few weeks from your house today. Maybe that should have been the title.
Yeah, but I think, Leslie, I think we see sentimental items like one big thing. It's like, it's the same when we think of paperwork as one big thing. I think this podcast really shows people like, okay, we can break it down into categories and one category is not the other one. And I think that's really, what we're trying to share with our listeners today is to kind of make you think about, okay, yeah, that's actually a good point. I hadn't even thought about it this way. I'm going to mull that over and I'm going to take one of these things and tackle that and go for the quality and not the quantity. So that is, I think, our main aim with this podcast.
Yes, and next week we are continuing our chat about sentimental items, and we have a very special guest, and Ingrid is beyond excited, of course, as she always is, with our American guests from the TV, no less. Ingrid, do you want to explain who is your guest on the podcast next week?
Well, I'm absolutely bursting with excitement, let me tell you. So I am talking to Matt Paxton, and Matt is one of the top cleaning, downsizing, decluttering, and hoarding experts in the US. He has been on the TV show Hoarders for, I think, about 10, 12 years. Everybody knows who he is. He has written the book, and he's going to tell us all about it. So I am beyond excited to be talking to him.
I know, I don't know how you're going to contain yourself. Fangirling. You're going to be fangirling next week. But anyway.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely.
Okay. So, Ingrid, 10 things done.
Yep. Done. Liking it. Loving it. So I hope you loved it too, listeners. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks so much for listening to the Declutter Hub podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us in your podcast player so you don't miss an episode, and we'll see you next week.